The Lord of the Rings Return to Moria is a game that has just released on Steam. It has been out for a while on console, and we're going to take a look at it today, some of the early gameplay and what to expect from this game. Now, first up, when creating your dwarf, you have a ton of customization options. So this is kind of the default look here on the right, but you can make your dwarf look however you like. Once you've customized the look of your dwarf, you can even customize things like their personality, their voice, and also their origin. So quite a lot of customization options in this game, which is quite nice. On top of that, you get to actually name your dwarf if you want, or you can just keep randomizing different names right here. So let's just do a few of those, and we're going to be Ori. Okay, that works. So we're going to save that, and we're going to create ourselves a new world. Having skipped through the video that you get at the start of this game, we find ourselves here, and we do get ourselves different tutorials and quests and stuff to help us through the game. So if you're new to it, then you'll figure out how to play pretty easily just by following what you're told to do. So right now, for example, we need to gather wood, and you can see we just walk up to this stuff and press E to pick it all up. So this is obviously the very basics because we're just getting started. You can then press C and start doing some crafting for your inventory. So right now, for example, we can use the wood to make up a torch, and with that crafted, we can go ahead and equip it to give ourselves a lot more light. And if you're ever unsure what to do, you can just press G and it will give you like what you're doing right now. So right now we just have to gather supplies, and also it just tells us what we just did there with the latest tutorial. So we're going to explore onwards through this cave system, and we're going to keep getting told what to do as we progress through, and we'll just follow that. But essentially at the end of this, we're going to get ourselves a little bit of a basic base setup and start getting into mining and stuff like that, so we can get into the main part of the game pretty quickly. Now I recommend that when you're running around, you just pick up everything at this point that you see that you're able to pick up. And the next thing it wants us to do is craft up a nice simple pickaxe, and we're going to be able to use this to do a lot of our basic mining early on in the game, including mining through here to get through to a new part of the game. So you can't mine just wherever you like in this game, but if you see areas like this and also ores, which we'll come on to later on in this video, then you are able to mine those to collect the resources, or in this case just kind of tunnel through to get through to the next side. Now through here we've got some mushrooms, you can see right there. So actually we unlock the mushroom stew recipe. We also just eat the mushrooms, but you're better off waiting unless you need to eat them and make up the stew, because it's a much more fulfilling meal than just eating the mushrooms on their own. That being said, we do need to eat them at least once in order to complete that sort of section of the tutorial, but for now we'll save the others for later on. And at this point we get to speak to Arik, Raven of Erebor, and Arik's going to be a bit of a tutorial guy that's going to help us through on different parts of our quests. Now while he's chatting to us, you can just walk around and start picking things up if you want, and he's just going through his thing, or of course you can listen to it, whatever you prefer at that point. So having spoken to Arik, we're then going to go ahead and tunnel through here to get through to a new section of the cave, and very shortly we're going to get to a section where we can actually start to make a base and get into mining and smelting and all that good stuff that you expect from this game. So now we come to this section right here where we have to build quick platforms. This is a kind of cool feature. If we press V, we can build certain things. So for example, this wooden platform, and you're going to need the wood scraps you've been picking up on the way. So we have to build this against the wall, so we want to place it somewhere we can jump to, and basically you can just jump up there and press it twice to jump up like this. Then you're going to want to make another one, maybe just like up here somewhere, and we can jump and jump up there and finally get up this way. So there's different ways of exploring and adventuring, and sometimes you actually need to build platforms like that in order to kind of parkour your way across things. So sometimes you see piles like this, and you can actually mine these piles with your pickaxe if you want. So if we just mine this, you see there we're doing a bit of damage each time, and we got some stone from that. So a lot of things in this game sometimes look like they're just part of the decoration, but they are actually things you can interact with and mine. So if you're ever short on resources, do look around and try out those sorts of things. And now we come to the doors of Durin, and we get a goal complete here just for having a look at this. And obviously the goal really is to try and find a way to open these doors in the long term. Now exploring a bit further, we come over here and we find this, which is a chest. So we got some stuff here and we can take all of this. Let's see what we got. So we got this here, Fury Aback, which it says here, use it to go into Fury for a short time. It increases armor effectiveness, attack power and stamina, but does damage health. So there is going to be combat in this game as well later on, and that's going to help us with that. Plus we've got these extra couple of things here, including this, which is a tome, which if we collect enough, we can build lowercase to gain a bonus to building. So yeah, lots of things you have to find in order to progress. You have to do a lot of like searching around and looking in different things. We also have these that come up, signs of the Fellowship. So these are of course in relation to Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship there, and we get a lot of these signs that you'll find throughout the game as you're playing through. So these are more lore based than anything else, but still kind of a cool thing to find and keep an eye out for on your travels. Now on top of that, a lot of things that you see in the game can be smashed. So if we come up here, we can smash that, for example, to get wood scraps. We can do the same here. With the tables and things, you can do the same. So again, if you're looking for resources, do check around. There's plenty of things you can smash open. open. Now, just up ahead there, you see there are some orcs who have just run off. We just kind of walked in on them having a bit of a chat. So it's a little nod to the fact that there are still orcs in the game that we have to deal with later on. And we get this entry right here about how orcs have survived. So there are still orcs in here. And as I say, combat does come up later on. So now we get to the bit where we can actually make up our base, and it tells us where to come by following that little yellow diagonal thing on screen there, and gives us a whole load of things that we can do in here in order to get our base going. So first up, we're going to come to this thing right here, the hearth, and we're going to rebuild that. We just need some stone, which you should have collected plenty of on your travel on the way here. So it just takes a little bit of time, and then we get the hearth up and running just like that. So it looks pretty cool. Provides a bit of light as well. So at this stage, we can probably get rid of our torch if we want, just to save that durability for later. Now it's also time to build up a bed, which is going to be very useful to us. There's bedroll right here. It just needs a bit of cloth scraps, which again, you should hopefully have found on your way. You can rotate the bed around and place it pretty much wherever you like. I'm just going to go like here, I think next to the fire. Seems like a good little spot for that. And what we can do then is go ahead and claim this bed. And now we have somewhere to rest and also somewhere to respawn. Now with the half done, we can also craft some things up, including this right here, mushroom stew. So if we hit start cooking, you'll see that this starts to progress, but there's no reason why not to add more portions really. And then they can all be made up at the same time. Just a more efficient way of doing that. And this is going to be then a good food source for us, at least in the early part of this game. And while we're waiting for that, we can just go around and get rid of some of these little rock piles and things here, get the materials from them, and also sort of clean up our base a little bit as we go. Okay, something I didn't realize, but the food actually spoils. So yeah, you probably actually don't want to make up too much food all at one go, because otherwise you're just wasting it. Now we can clear the table, but obviously it's just a bit of a waste. So I guess you just craft food up as and when you need it. That seems to have spoiled very, very quickly. But guys, it is what it is. There we go. So don't make too much mushroom stew like I did. So once they're cooked, they appear on the table over here. And we just walk up to it and press E in order to eat one, obviously replenishing our hunger and also completing that little bit of the tutorial there, teaching us about food. Now it just wants us to build a storage chest, which again is going to be under the build menu by pressing B. We scroll down a bit, we got the wooden chest just here, and let's see, where do we want this to go? I think just at the head of my bed might be a good little spot. Let's place it down, yeah, just there, it'll be fine. So now you can go ahead obviously and store things in here that you don't need to keep on you at the time. On top of that, it wants us to rebuild the furnace, so again we're going to need stone for that, and that's why we collect plenty of this stuff as we go through. This is all going to be very useful to us in this early part of the game. But the cool thing is, the next thing we're going to get into is doing a bit of mining. You see there we've got the recipe there for the iron ingot, and also a building plan for the furnace. So in terms of the mining, if we head through this way right here, and just over there you can see there is an iron vein, so it's really close to where we're at here, and we can jump up here and start mining this orangey stuff here, which is of course the iron. Oh, okay, and there are wolves here, which is not great. I don't think they can get me if I'm up here. I might just dig in a little bit and get some iron at the same time. Didn't have to deal with the wolves the last time I was in here, so I wasn't expecting that. So you can see here I'm just mining into this iron ore, and we're just going to make ourselves a little bit of a thing. We can actually press E and start singing as well, and it gives us a bit of mining song, so we actually mine a bit more efficiently. Now you can look up as well when you're mining, so you don't have to be right next to it. You can mine above yourself as well, so make sure you do that and get all the iron ore out of this vein, especially while you're singing the song and you've got that buff. You see there in the bottom left, we've also got the ore frenzy as well, which is also on a cooldown, so lots of buffs here. So while you're here, you just want to mine out this entire vein and make the most of these buffs rather than having to come back. Now with these wolves here, they've been waiting the whole time, so let's say we're gonna have to deal with them. If I go ahead and press C, I can go over to the weapons section here, and we can make up some things. So for example, let's craft up the shield here and the axe there, and then let's go ahead and get them in a good spot in our inventory. So keep that one there and the shield there for 1 and 2. Then we can of course equip them, and now we're going to need to have a little bit of a fight. So we can block with right click there, and the block does a pretty good job, but we do need to be careful that we are blocking at the right time and such, and hitting at the right time as well. So yeah, it's a little bit tricky when you're first getting used to combat, but if we do it right, we should be able to take on these wolves. And you can see we can kind of block them and then do a bit of a shield hit by blocking and then hitting, and by doing that they shouldn't do too much damage to us, if at all. If you block at the right time, you can also parry them as well. So if you parry them, you can then get bigger hits in on them. So that's the best way to do it if you can get the timings down. But when you're new to the game, it can be a little tricky to get those exactly right. And there we go, we got some meat from the first wolf, and while I was picking that up and the hide scraps, I've got a little bit of a hit there, but you can see here we're doing a good amount of damage. So if we just try and time the blocking correctly, then like that, there we go, it was a pretty good one. We can get a bigger hit in on the wolf then if we do that. And there we go, we took down the 2 wolves there. We did did take some damage, but I'm still pretty new to this game, so I'm not exactly great at combat just yet. But with just those early game weapon of the axe and the shield that we get as well, you're able to take on a couple of wolves there without too much problem, even if you're bad at combat like me. And then when we get back here, we'll go ahead and eat some of that mushroom soup up, and that will replenish us, and now we're back to being good as new. Now at this point, we can go ahead and go into the furnace here, and we're going to make up some iron ingots. So let's add in some coal because it needs some fuel, and now we can add the iron ingots into the queue, and we'll just do all of the iron that we just picked up there, whatever we can. Looks like we've got enough to do all of it. There we go. So yeah, it was good to get all of that out of the vein while we're there, and we've still got a good amount for later on, as well as some other items that we got from that. Once your iron has smelted up, you can go and collect it from the furnace there, and of course that will complete the tutorial. Then it gives us the next thing, which is to rebuild the forge, and we're going to make ourselves up an iron sword. So we're very quickly getting into better weapons, which is useful. And we do need 3 iron for that, so I have to wait for that. But it's good to be getting into the Iron Age so early in the game. Now we can rebuild the forge as we have the 3 iron ingots, and that's going to get us into, as I say, making the iron sword, but also other things too. So when we craft at the forge here, you can see there's the iron sword. We can also make up an iron hills shield, which is pretty cool. We're going to need 3 iron for that, which is fine. We've got that, and even an iron hammer, which is pretty awesome. Now, one nice thing is you'll see here it says in the green for the wood scraps and the hide scraps, they're in this chest over here, so you don't have to have this stuff in your inventory in order for the forge or any of the workstations to recognize. They will recognize nearby inventories, which I really like. Saves us having to get the bits out all the time, then put them back in. Now that we have the iron, we can go ahead and make up the better iron sword. So let's go ahead and add the coal and then craft that one up. So we now have a better weapon already, which is awesome. Plus it creates, or completes, I should say, that part of the tutorial. Now I think while I'm here, I also want to go ahead and make up the Iron Hills shield, I should say. It's probably going to be a lot better than the current one we have, so let's go ahead and craft that one up too. And there we go, we definitely look the part now. We've got a little bit more going on here with our nice iron sword and shield stuff. It should be able to fight our enemies a lot better. So now we need to do a bit of traveling. We're going to head off. Before we do that, I think I will craft up like 1 mushroom stew, I guess. Oh wait, we don't have the mushrooms for it? Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I guess we're not making that up. Tell you what though, we might have some other stuff. Let me check here. Yeah, okay, we have roast meat, but we don't have enough. We need 3, we've only got 2, so we have to do a bit more fighting and stuff. I might go and do that and then come back so we can gear up a little bit better for when we're like walking off and doing stuff. Okay, so here we go. There's a few of them around here, so we're just gonna have to do our best with fighting them. And okay, that first one doesn't seem too difficult, I guess. Maybe we should like wait. There's a few of them coming. And yeah, mostly it's just about making sure they don't hit us, I think. So if you're like blocking, you can kind of block and then go and attack them like that, and it's a quick attack. Or you can do what I did there and try to parry them if you like block at the right time. So yeah, you kind of got like more defensive options with the blocking and attacking, or you can try like the parry and the big hits to try and kill them. So when you're attacking as well, the 3rd hit does more damage. Like if you do 1, 2, 3, there you go. See, there's a big 17 on the 3rd one. Oh, he didn't even have 3 left in him. Okay, there we go. So yeah, but when you hit for the 3rd time, that's a big one. So you can try and make sure that one definitely hits. Now we're tired. We're in darkness. I think what we need to do is get back up to our base, have a little bit of a rest after that. But yeah, there we go. We took down 3 goblins there, and obviously our new iron stuff is definitely helping with that. Now, what I'm going to do is just grab my torch for now and try and find some mushrooms or something so we can get a bit of food made up. Because I think we're going to need to get ourselves some food. We're a little bit lower on health after that fight, and also we've got a journey up ahead of us. So yeah, if we don't find mushrooms or meat or something, then it might be a little bit tricky. You can see here the game wants us to go a couple 100 yards down that way, which we're going to do next, but I'm just thinking we'd probably be better to get some food in us before we do it. There could easily be you know, some more mobs to fight. Killing a rat there though did give us 1 meat, so we can now go and make up our meat. We needed 1 extra to have the 3 for that, and that should be a better meal than the mushrooms anyway, so we'll go down that route and hopefully that will serve us well. So let's see, over at the hearth here, we can go ahead and craft up our roast meat, start cooking that. While it's kind of thinking about that, let's go ahead and have a little rest in the bed because it's telling us that we're tired. Be a bit efficient here and get that cooking overnight. And yeah, there we go. Our roast meat's there waiting for us in the morning, so we'll eat that one up. Actually, I think the sleeping kind of healed our health anyway, but the meat there did give us more energy and also gave us some extra health, so that's pretty useful. We'll head on now to this little next point and see what we find when we get there. One nice thing about this game is there is a lot to explore when you're on your travels. Like, we haven't got very far at all, and there's all this stuff going on over here, and this is all going to be useful later on. There's things to like repair, and we can take this stuff down for resources. I'm assuming we can build here as well later on and stuff. But yeah, so it's kind of fun for the exploration of this. Now, it looks like we're going to have to mine ourselves through here, so we'll go ahead and do that. But yeah, just showing you anything of interest along the way. So just came through the tunnel there. There's been a few mobs to fight while we're through here. Nothing too crazy so far, but a couple of these like things here. And there was a wolf there as well. I think this one here is only fighting because I've been fighting them. But it seems kind of worth doing because we get meat from them and stuff, which is going to be useful. And their hides as well, I'm guessing, will be pretty useful for making up like armor or whatever later on too. This is a really cool area right here. We've got a really nice area of the cave here, quite an open area. Bit of daylight even or something there coming through, some shining lights there. And yeah, like nice little houses and cave area. So just thought I'd show you guys anything like that along the way that looks kind of cool. Looks like we're heading off this way, so let's make sure we're going the right way. But if we're able to build in these areas later on, I think if you enjoy building, then there's going to be a lot of stuff that you can definitely do here. Now we're through to this section. Again, a really cool section right here. Some nice buildings and stuff like that. And we're pretty close to our destination, the gate to Durin's highway. So let's get over there, see what that's about. Looks like we might have a couple of fights on the way here. And also Arak is here to see us too. And once again, we have another quest here to get over to find the next way to get through to the mines. So if you like the sort of quest-driven games where there is a lot of sort of information given to you and you follow the quests and the storyline rather than it being more sort of open world, then yeah, this is definitely gonna be a good game for you. I'm a massive fan of The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings myself, which is one of the reasons I was obviously interested in this game, and I think obviously that really helps. But I would say that you don't necessarily have to be a fan to enjoy this game. The gameplay itself feels pretty fun, pretty enjoyable, but I'd love to you guys let me know what you think as well down in the comments. Let me know, have you played this game? Are you enjoying it? Would you buy it? Are you a fan of Lord of the Rings? Is that why? Because I've seen some different people's opinions on this, and some people think you have to be kind of into Lord of the Rings to enjoy this. So yeah, I'd love to know what you guys think about that down in the comments. While it's exploring, it can be easy to get lost. One little tip, guys, you can press M and you can use the mouse wheel to scroll in. It will tell you where different things are. Over on the left here, we have a different key and stuff. So yeah, I mean, early game, it's not too bad, but later on, this could be really useful. So make sure you know about that one. So a lot of what we're doing now is going to be following on with the quests and things and doing more of what you've already seen before we get to a bit of a later game stuff where we're going to be doing obviously later game quests, combat, building, all that sort of stuff. But today was just meant to be a first look at this game. And if you'd like to see me do more videos on this game, please do consider liking and subscribing. It's a really good gauge to me as to how many people want to see more of this type of thing. But for now, I just want to say thank you so much for watching and look forward to seeing you guys in the next one.